Hey, today we're coming to you from AZ Cycle Parts and we're going to talk about this motor. And this is obviously, looking at it, this is a Lamborghini V12, one of two of them that we have now. This came out of a Murcielago, and this engine is really only one of two V12s that Lamborghini ever produced. Literally, they only make two V12s. They have a first gen and a second gen. But this particular motor started in early 60s as a 3.5 liter motor. And they slowly, over time, they kept increasing the displacement until we get, this isn't the highest displacement, but it's close. This is the 6.2 liter version, and they actually made a 6.5 liter version. This particular motor started out with carburation, and the Murcielago, obviously, they used fuel injection with throttle bodies. And if you look at the motor, there's actually 4 throttle bodies on this motor, since it's a V12. But like I say, just some of the history of it, like I say, it's just kind of neat to see how it started out as a really small, 3.5 liter. That's actually smaller than the flat 6 that's in my Porsche. So it's just kind of like, that's a little bitty V12 when you think about it. 6.2 liter, 572 horsepower at like 7,500 RPM. It's a pretty even bore and stroke, so the bore and stroke are pretty close. I think it's like 80 something on the bore, 88 I believe, and then 70 something on the stroke. It's a fairly high revving motor. I think the red line on it was a little over 8 grand, but the peak power was at 7,500 RPM, which is a little different than the second generation that you'll find in like the Aventadors and some of the other cars. But they use this motor in Diablos, anything you can think of, Countachs, all of the early cars had this particular, some variation of this particular 60-degree V12, in various displacements from 3.5 liter all the way to 6.5 liter. So this particular engine has a unique firing order, and it's different than the V12 that's in the Aventador. So the first generation motor has one firing order, and the second generation V12 has a different firing order. What does that mean? It just means it's going to give it a unique sound. It's going to give it a different sound. Combine that with the header manifold or the header manifold exhaust configuration, and each V12 car, whether it's a Murcielago or an Aventador, is going to have a very distinct sound to it. Like I was describing, these motors have a different sound, the early version of the first generation and the second generation. And we actually have sound clips for both motors, so you'll be able to get a little taste of what this particular V12 sounds like, and we'll do the same actually for the Aventador, the second generation V12. Hope you enjoy it, and tune in for the next one.